I'm beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Hey, welcome to another episode. If you do enjoy this video, consider giving it a like, as it does help the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Last time we were an overweight construction worker, and this time it's Star Wars again. Game number 51, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Released in 1998, this game was developed and published by LucasArts. So RNG is a funny thing, we're playing another Star Wars game so soon. This is the second one released for the N64, and I'd never seen it before this playthrough. I think people were saying they're making a movie based on this Rogue Squadron thing. Wonder if that'll be any good. This game only has a single player campaign mode, so we'll be completing that to beat this game. The first mission is the ambush at Mos Eisley. We get that iconic scrolling yellow text explaining the story. The Death Star has just been destroyed and Luke Skywalker has formed the legendary Rogue Squadron, featuring the most skilled pilots in the entire Rebel Alliance. They're trying to take down the Empire to control the galaxy. So then we go into the first mission. The gameplay in this game has you flying spacecraft in like a large 3D environment. The ship will be able to fire projectiles to kill enemies, as you might expect. There's multiple ships to use, but most missions will force you to play as a certain one. In the first one, you use the X-Wing, which is the ship used to destroy the Death Star. After killing all the enemies in the area, a brief cutscene plays saying Mos Eisley is under attack. There's a mini-map in the corner with an orange cone that points to your current objective. When I flew over there, I ran into one of the TIE fighters, which caused a yelling noise. Then Luke says he lost R2. I guess that means R2-D2. In the top left, it shows your ship's health. If you keep it at a high level, R2 will passively repair any damage to your ship. But if it gets too low, then R2 I guess dies and you're stuck at that health until you either beat the mission or die yourself. After blowing up all the TIE fighters, a cutscene plays where Luke is like, yeah, we saved Mos Eisley. Maybe people will actually know about the Rogue Squadron. Yeah, in your dreams, buddy. After finishing a mission, it shows a stats screen related to how you did. If your stats are good enough, then you can earn a medal on the mission, but it's not required, only for completionist purposes. Next mission is the Rendezvous on Barkesh. We have to escort rebel supplies over Imperial territory. The game gives you some background on the mission before each one. There's a lot of voice acting in the game, and it's pretty high quality, honestly.
They carry equipment and supplies vital to the rebellion. Your mission is to rendezvous with that convoy and escort it to the landing zone. Good luck.
Kind of impressive for the N64. This mission starts out easy enough, just killing a few ships as you fly around and wait for the supply chain to move through the area. Not too much to say about this one. It's mostly chill as it's kind of an auto-scroller. Good time to talk about the graphics. The graphics in this game are honestly fantastic. Like, probably the best I've seen on the N64 for this challenge so far. The game utilizes the expansion pack to increase the resolution, and man, this looks like a mid-tier GameCube game, and it doesn't lag too bad either. Anyway, after the train has gotten through, the mission is beaten. Next up is the search for Nona. A rebel cargo ship has crashed and we've got to find it before the Imperials do. In this mission we pilot the A-Wing. It's much smaller and faster and it can turn more abruptly. However, it's a lot less tanky than the X-Wing. After flying through the stage a bit, I found the wreckage. I guess the Imperials got here first because there's a bunch of ships there already. Now there's like some big tank things and an AT-ST. Each ship has a special fire move that they have. For instance, the A-Wing has a missile it shoots out that does much higher damage. The number in the lower left corner indicates your ammo for the special weapon. I had my first death in this mission. No! Oh wait, you just respawn. Oh, you have a life counter. When you die, you just respawn in the state you were just before dying. You get 3 lives per mission, so it's pretty fair overall. After getting the ship out of the crash site, the mission was over. Still easy so far. Next up is the Defection at Corellia. Crix Medine of the Empire wants to defect to the Rebel Alliance, but the Empire obviously, they're not cool with that. We need to protect him while he escapes Imperial territory. In this one, we're using the Speeder. As you might guess, it's the fastest ship, but it also dies the easiest. A bit into this when we learn the Imperial forces are attacking the local city, so we go to stop them. It's just a bunch of TIE fighters, nothing the Rogue Squadron can't handle. After fending off the ships, we get a distress signal from Crick saying he needs help immediately to get out of the city. We go to save him, then we're greeted with a beautiful sight. Han Solo and Chewbacca show up in the Millennium Falcon to help us out. They take care of the TIE fighters, then an AT-AT shows up. This is where the speeder's special weapon comes into play, the harpoon cable. It wants us to tie a cable around the AT-AT's feet to make it trip over itself. This was an iconic scene from the movies, but man, it just doesn't work so well in this game. They had you do this in the previous game, Shadows of the Empire, and it's about the same in this one. It just feels incredibly awkward to try to fly circles around the thing, and if you get too far away, it just cancels your attack. I couldn't tangle it up, and I failed the mission. If you fail a mission, you go all the way back to the start of it. There's no checkpoints or anything like that. On my next try, I tied it up and it does fall over and blow up, but it's kind of underwhelming. I want like a big explosion, you know? Then Crix gets under attacked by a group of AT-STs and other ships, so we blow all those dudes up and the mission's beaten. After that, it's the Liberation of Garrard V. The Imperial governor is looting the city and using his luxury yachts to transport stolen goods. We have to protect the Y-Wing ships from the turrets set up in the city. The main ones to be concerned with are the missile turrets on the outskirts. It's rough though, because if they hit you, it's nearly a one-hit KO. After blowing those up, it shows a cutscene where Wedge is freaking out about the 128th TIE Squadron. Apparently they're the best in the entire Empire. Basically, you have to hurry over to a different city and blow up the turrets there. If you aren't fast enough, you fail and have to start all over. Once they're gone, that squad of TIE fighters shows up. Shooting these things can be very frustrating. The AI is programmed to try to get behind you to shoot you, and well, that's the best way to shoot them as well. So it creates like a feedback loop where both of you are just trying to get behind each other, and it can take a while to finally hit them. After killing them, it shows a scene where Cassian Moore of the Empire is getting her butt kicked. Then we're like, let's work together. Next mission is the Jade Moon. We get more scrolling text lore here. Cassian Moore is officially defected to the Rebel Alliance. She witnessed the cruelty and hypocrisy in the Empire as they destroyed her homeworld, Alderaan. She brings knowledge of all the Imperial strongholds to the rebels. This mission has us going right into an Imperial base, so now there's buildings to blow up along with all the usual ships and turrets. There was a big shield around the main base area, so I had to go find the device generating it and blow it up. After that, I went in and wreaked havoc on everything inside. I blew it up along with all the ships that came in for reinforcements, and that was it. Mission complete. Cassian sounds a bit conflicted about fighting on the other side for now, but I think she made the right choice. Now we go to the Imperial construction yards. It's another Imperial base where they construct their walkers. This one starts out as kind of a stealth mission in a way. We have to go into the base undetected by destroying the scanners before they see us. If you get too close to one, you lose. After blowing up all the scanners, I got into the base safely. Right away, I had to tie up one of those AT-ATs again, which just sucks. I really don't like doing this. Once again, we just have to annihilate everything we see inside the base. There was a large construction area with a yellow flashing thing inside. Turns out it's a bonus upgrade. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it gives additional special weapons to your other ships permanently, but also that might be wrong. This is the first mission where the game gets a bit difficult. There's a lot of enemies and turrets to be destroyed, and it just chips away at your health slowly. Not to mention the unfair collision hitboxes on some of the structures. No, that's what happened yesterday, man. So lame. After a few game overs, I destroyed everything and beat the mission. Now we lead the assault on Kyle 2. This is the first mission where we play as the Y-Wing. They're really big and slow, but pretty tanky. The regular fire on it's actually kind of bad. It's just a single laser and it's a slow rate too. But I learned the Y-Wing has an alternate fire mode that disables things like turrets. This makes it infinitely easier to survive. The main goal in this mission is to destroy this gigantic Imperial structure where I guess they're doing evil Imperial related things or something like that. It's just this big area where there's tons of turrets and ships flying around. After destroying the majority of the structure, it plays a cutscene showing a different building with a bunch of satellites. Then after blowing those up, Wedge gets ambushed and surrenders to the Imperials. Rip Wedge. We blow up the remaining structures and get the heck out of there. Guess Wedge just gets captured or something. Next mission is the rescue on Kessel. Who are we rescuing? Why, Wedge, of course. There's this big train moving through Kessel and we suspect Wedge is on board. This mission has a lot of turrets to deal with, and we're in the X-Wings, so they hurt pretty bad. Eventually I did run into the train, and it said I have to disable it, not destroy it. At first I didn't really know what it wanted. The train moved too far and I got a game over because it unloaded its cargo. Rip Wedge again. Guess he's in prison forever now. But it turns out the X-Wing has an alternate firing mode as well. I had to disable the train with it, and it's actually quite an easy mission once you know how to do that. Rescuing Wedge wasn't good enough, I guess, because now we're going for a direct assault on the prison itself. There are more rebel prisoners here and we want them out. There's a shield around the prison, so we gotta destroy the shield generator just like before. After that, we've gotta follow this ship around to a bunch of different prison sites where they evacuate the prisoners. Basically, you just kinda guard the ship from a bunch of enemy ships until they say rescue complete, then follow them somewhere else. But this thing needs absolutely babysat because it just caused me to lose for no reason. I think it blew up or something. It wasn't even on my screen, so I don't know what happened there. It took a few tries, but after they evacuate the final site, the mission's beaten. We get more scrolling lore after this. The Rogue Squadron is focused on the latest threat, Moff Cole Searden. He's preparing to capture TIE Fair with its supply of healing Bacta. Luke Skywalker and the Rogue Squadron need to stop him or the galaxy will be doomed. We start with the Imperial mining operation near Talaran. So this mission's kind of weird. We're like up in this sky base where there's a bunch of fuel canisters. We want to blow them up, but only some of them. The ones that are blue are civilian structures apparently, so you fail if you blow those up. It's a little tedious to make sure you're hitting all the right ones. It gets even more complex when at later stations there's turrets there, because now you're trying to blow those up, but you can easily misfire and hit the civilian structure by mistake. Just repeat this process at multiple spots though, then after the last one, the mission's beaten. After that, we learn some rebels have gone and stolen a bunch of walkers from an Imperial base, and the Rogue Squadron needs to bail them out. Like, come on guys, this is just too much. We can't be saving y'all all the time. So there's these ships walking around that you have to escort out of the entire base. If they die, then you lose. This mission had a lot of those AT-ATs that you have to tie the harpoon cable around. It's just frustrating. Once I died a few times, I had the route memorized and I could just run ahead of them and clear the path. After they get out safely, it has you destroy a research facility and then the mission's complete. Now Moff Searden is attempting to build a blockade around Chandrilla. There's a supply train headed there and it would not be great if it didn't make it, so I guess the Rogue Squadron needs to help it get in safely. When we get to the city, Moff is all like, hey, surrender now, you have no chance, and we're just like, oh no. Anyway, he brings in some ATSTs to try to stop us, but come on, we're the Rogue Squadron. After blowing up all the enemy ships, it plays a cutscene where Moff Searden and Cassian Moore have some banter back and forth. He's like, wow, you defected to the rebels, and she's all like, aw, dude, you're evil. Then the mission ends. This one, it was pretty easy. Now we're leading a raid on Sullust. It's a big volcano and we want to pay them back for Chandrilla. So there's this Imperial base floating above the volcano and there's a shield guarding it. The way to get rid of the shield is destroy all these red generators scattered throughout the volcano. There's quite a few of them and they're all guarded by multiple turrets. This mission was just plain rough. Like, the difficulty here spiked dramatically. The bombs on the Y-Wing are huge here because you can kind of swoop in, bomb the generator, and ignore all the turrets, but it's also risky. After you take the shield down, the mission doesn't end there yet. The base is opened up for attack and there's a lot of enemy ships flying around it. Let's just say I died here a lot. It's nuts how many projectiles there are and you only have 3 lives to do it in. I learned at this second part you can just kind of fly around and survive and the CPUs will destroy the base for you. After about half an hour of trying, I finally got past this one. Good riddance. Now comes Moff Searden's revenge. Apparently that last mission was just a distraction and now he's stolen the rebels back to supplies and is hiding out in Typhera. The last mission was rough and this one's even worse. We're in this big area and we need to destroy dozens if not hundreds of Empire's ships and turrets. Along with that, we have to prevent the Bacta containers from being destroyed. If they are, then it's game over. I died on this one so many times, like it's wild. I was one-shotting missions and then these last 2 missions they're way harder. After killing all the enemies, Moff Searden himself shows up in his ship. It starts playing that one song, you know, like the one Darth Vader song or whatever. I don't know, it's like It's one of the only Star Wars songs I know. Anyway, this is like a legit boss battle, just a 1 versus 1 ship fight. On the first attempt, I got wrecked, like basically immediately. It took over an hour to get back to the fight, but this time I did with 1 life remaining. That means I can use this first life just to crash into him, which deals huge damage. I used my missiles to damage him some more, but I was getting hit a lot. I lost R2 and I couldn't regen health anymore. I just had to hope for the best.
I lost R2. Too bad you didn't join the Empire. I could have used a pilot with your kill. Impossible. Ah!
Did I get him? Thankfully, either I just somehow didn't die from that crash, or the game took him dying to give precedence over me dying. I don't know, but either way, I was relieved. This mission sucked. Now we get the final scrolling text of the game. It talks about how all the Jedi Knights are gone, but the Rebel Alliance has still managed to control 3/4 of the galaxy. Darth Vader is dead, but the Empire is trying to strike back with these machines called World Devastators. They're even more powerful than the Death Star itself. Now it's the final mission of the game, the Battle of Calamari. The Empire is using these big machines called World Devastators to obliterate Calamari. In this mission, we used the V-Wing for the first time. I ran into one of the Devastators quite quickly, and yeah, these things are massive. The V-Wing is very powerful, but man, it's also squishy. Anytime you get near one of the World Devastators, you just get wrecked by tons of missiles. The V-Wing has its own missile attack where it sends out multiple missiles that lock onto nearby targets. Basically, I just spammed this to get rid of as many turrets as possible, then I chipped away at the shield generator until it died. After that, I took out the leg generators to make this thing fall down and explode on itself. It was pretty tough killing just one of these, but there's multiple in this mission, and it's a timed thing too. If they get too close to Calamari, then you just game over. It took me a while to get all of them out, then you have to destroy all the TIE fighters in the area. After that, the mission's over. This one wasn't near as bad as the last two though, maybe because the V-Wing is stronger. It then shows a cutscene with the Rogue Squadron coming back home, and there's fireworks and all this, and yeah, big celebration, and the credits roll. Game complete. I didn't stop here though. This game has a bunch of cheats that enough people wanted to see, along with some bonus missions. The first mission is Beggar's Canyon. This one you race against the other members of the squadron through the canyon. It's really short, and it's not that hard to win, honestly. I did it first try. The next secret mission is the Death Star Trench Run. In this one, you get to play as Luke Skywalker in the iconic scene where he blows up the Death Star. With one of the cheat codes, I unlocked a special ship, the Naboo Starfighter. This is by far the best ship in the game, as it excels in all areas. It's more of a linear mission as opposed to all the open world ones in the main game. We just go down this long trench with turrets all lined along all the walls, and about halfway through, Han Solo shows up and blows up a bunch of enemies for us. I guess that happened in the movie too? I don't know. When you get to the end, there's a tiny little hole you have to shoot into. It's kind of underwhelming because you don't even get to see the thing blow up. Like, what the heck? And the final secret mission is the Battle of Hoth. I'm not sure what this one is. It's a lot like any of the other missions in the main story. It's just kind of meh. Most of the time in this mission you're spent tying cables around the AT-ATs, which yeah, that's no fun. I beat it on my first try. And finally, there's another cheat code to play as a literal car. It's supposed to be a 1969 Buick Electra. I don't know why they chose that, but hey. It just behaves identical to the V-Wing, but it's pretty funny to see it flying around. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Star Wars Rogue Squadron. This game, it was pretty decent. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it was worth playing, I think. Some of the missions felt a bit repetitive, but blowing things up with a spaceship's always fun, right? The graphics were honestly fantastic. Best I've seen on the console. The music's nice, and the game doesn't lag too bad. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 6.5 out of 10 for difficulty. It was really easy until the last 3 missions, then it just got rough. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, consider giving it a like, as it does help the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and here's a sneak peek at what is coming next. There are 340 games. Could be anything. It could be anything. 3, 2, 1, go. 113. What the heck is that? Alright, I'm pretty sure this is like a Tamagotchi game. We are playing Hamster Monogatari 64.